Okay, so let's edit that part out. But a couple days ago, I asked myself a question: what would happen if I purchased a flight cockpit from Temu? Which I've never bought anything from Temu before. I've heard very shady practices from Temu, but I've also heard very shady practices from several different distributing companies. Amazon is included in that list as well. So I went with what the cheapest seller was, and I chose the cheapest, the cheaper of two well-known evils. All the primary sellers, they were just a little bit out of my budget, and so I decided not to go with their product offers for my first time building a flight sim cockpit or any sort of thing like that. My ultimate objective is to keep it bare bones and keep it highly modular and keep it functional. I think that's very important whenever you're making something like this. A lot of people get lost in the woods of having every single peripheral or every single add-on that you could possibly think about. I don't want that to be the approach today. I want the approach to be simply modular, functional, and something that just works. And so we'll see how this Temu cockpit works. Apparently there is 3 boxes, so they had to separate the shipment into 3 different boxes. I only have 2 right now, but I'm not sure what's in these 2 boxes, so this is probably going to be a 2-part video. Me working with what I have available on the first box, and then maybe tomorrow, because I think tomorrow is when the last box is coming. Tomorrow I might go ahead and start setting up the last and the 3rd box to put everything together. So we're gonna open this box up, we're gonna open up both boxes, we'll see how far we can get with the assembly today, and then tomorrow we'll put everything else together. I'm going to make a time-lapse video out of this and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so it looks like in the box we have 2 separate things. In the bigger box we had the seat, the seat base itself, and then the back support on the seat. And then in here, it looks like we have the actual stand for the simulator. It comes with a paper instruction sheet, a couple of them actually. It comes with multiple, so it shows you how to accessories for us to assemble this thing. So pretty standard instruction manual. On this instruction sheet, it shows you how to assemble the seat, the back and then the base together. So we have, I think, enough to assemble at least the seat. I don't know if we have all the parts to assemble the stand and the base. My hope is that we could get a lot of work done today, even with just 2 boxes. We'll see what the 3rd box brings tomorrow, but it seems like all the instructions are right here, and whatever we're missing from this box will likely be coming tomorrow. But we have to dig in and see what exactly it is that we're missing. So back to the time lapse. Okay, so we're just about 45 minutes or so in. I don't know, maybe closer to an hour. I'll check, but just finished setting up the base, and the next thing we have to set up is the chair, and that should mount back here. Then I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put this thing in my small apartment. I found out as well, so something that I found out is that in one of the 3 boxes that come with it, it will have the mount for the likely for the rudder pedal. I don't know how it's a conclusion. Oh, this is out. So I think it will probably be in 2 separate pieces. So you can kind of see it here, but this first half that we just assembled, it has the yoke attachment, for example. It has the rear frame to mount the seat on. So if the rudders came first, then I wouldn't have anything to mount the seat on. I would just have the rudders, and I would just have the seat just kind of floating around as well. So I could actually try to use this and start getting it comfortable, optimized to my seating preferences, even as early as tonight. So we'll try to do that, because the next couple days might be just a little bit busy for me on my side. So we'll see how much we can accomplish tonight and hopefully tomorrow. Okay, so we are back for part 2, or day 2, of the Temu cockpit build, sim cockpit build. Some new things have also happened, and you might have seen that in the time lapse. I might have also put a voiceover, so this might be redundant information. But I also used the opportunity to reorganize my living space, which is really my living room, but it's also doubles as function as my living area. So I live alone, so that works out well. But when that changes, somebody's not gonna be very happy about the way that I live. But I've moved my gaming computer setup from this side of my living room to is now on the wall back here, and that means that it's right in front of the window, so I'll be able to get natural light during the day, so I won't be sad anymore during the winter time, and the sun will give me a nice backlight. It might be a little intense, but I have blinds that I'll be able to pull down. And then I moved the area that the setup is going to be located in. So I'll put the setup over here in this corner, and then the couch is gonna be right there. And yeah, I'll spend the rest of this evening reorganizing everything. And then if I get to finish this setup, I'll set everything up over here. I'll probably give it a test run if I can today. If not today, I'll probably try to do it sometime this weekend, because things are about to get busy at the end of this week. And I miss one, I'll catch the other. I'll try to reorganize in here. If I'm unable to finish the setup, then I'll be happy to just have my living room reorganized. And it looks good so far. I guess change is good sometimes. I have a lot of work to do to move all this stuff around. I'm also going to use the opportunity to prune my setup a little bit more too, to get rid of some things that I don't need. For example, this, don't need this, I could throw this away. So during the time lapse, you'll see me move stuff around, but you'll probably also see me throw stuff away. Maybe not, you probably won't realize, but I'll be throwing stuff away. So welcome back to part 2. Okay, so it looks like in this box we did kind of expect this. We have the rudder area, so the part furthest away from me in the seated configuration. It looks like it comes with a central pole. I'll need that, and I need just a few more attachments on the setup to be able to use my peripherals, which I'll be using the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo. I think I talked about that yesterday. So this is going to help us attach a few more vertical poles that we can mount the Alpha and the Bravo, as well as a sort of an elevated, angled kind of platform for the rudder pedals, which we'll be able to mount and secure in place. That's, strangely enough, I've always dealt with that issue since I've had a flight simulator set up. My rudder pedals always slip away from me when I use them. You push on the rudder pedals, and it's either I'm getting pushed back in my chair or the rudder pedals getting moved from me. So if I'm able to mount this successfully, believe it or not, this will be the first time I ever used like proper rudder pedals in a setup before, which sounds bizarre to say after simming since I was a teen, but this is part of being open source. VR is all supposed to be open source and cheap, and I've been doing it cheapest way that I can for as long as I can. So this is my one of my first ventures into a dedicated setup for flight simulation. It's become such a big part of my life that it's undeniable. I used to back away from it, but it's become such a big part of my hobbies to do this. And so I thought that I would invest a little more, not unreasonable more, but a little more to have a more comfortable and functional setup, modular functional setup. So I'm very excited for this, and we'll see how this goes. It's now about 4:45, 4:51, so we'll see how long this takes. It shouldn't take that much longer after yesterday. Yesterday was the hardest part, and the chair on the back part of the setup was the hardest part, but we got that done, and so we're looking forward to what this brings. Now, stay tuned. Okay, so just completed the installation of the frame for the sim cockpit. I'll just be using my VR headset while I am positioned here. So no stress, no worries. I'll still be able to use my setup just fine, but I will be doing it in virtual reality. So my plan is to configure the entire flight here, and then upon pushback and startup, for example, I will transition over into this seat where I will be doing the rest of the setup. So the next part of the video is really just going to be me setting up the cables, rerouting everything from the desktop here to the sim pit, and that should, honestly, it might take a little while because I get very particular about cable management. That's very important to me, and keeping this thing clean. I mean, this is my living room area, right? So I do a lot of things in here, like I paint in here, but I use my computer in here most importantly, and I get a lot of my work done here. My studying is done in here as well. So my plan is to keep it as organized and as tidy as possible, hide as many wires as possible. Most of this stuff is tucked underneath here, so it's gonna hurt me to have to undo all of it, but it's for the greater good. Let me do a quick sit test in the cockpit just to make sure that it is comfortable. I'll be doing some more modifications to it with time just to make sure that I can get it feeling nice and stable and to my conformations. And it was really ugly getting into it just now. I know it looked pretty bad getting inside just now, but my hope is that as I configure the setup a little bit more, it won't look as clumsy. I've got some knee separation here, but this might need to elevate this up just a little bit more for the Honeycomb Alpha to get knee separation. That might be one of the only issues. If that is not an option, so I don't bang my knee on top here. I'm about 6'5" and I still fit 6'4", 6'5", and I still fit in this setup pretty nice. I'll plan to use this as a mounting area for, I have a Bluetooth keyboard that I plan to use here. So the checklist items for us now is to mount the yoke, the Honeycomb Alpha here, the Honeycomb Bravo here. I'll try to hide a powered USB hub somewhere here, so that one of the few cables and cords that leave this entire area should just be a single USB cable that goes from here to my desktop. So that's gonna help with cable management. Right now on my actual desktop, I have multiple of my peripherals in one place, so that adds a lot of bulk and a lot of extra cables. So I'll be able to cut down on some of the extra peripherals and the clutter on the desk. The chair is actually very comfortable. I can sit in this, I'll get this locked in and dialed in for longer term use. I have a power supply system here, and right above me is my standing light, which I do intend to keep right here for mood and ambiance purposes. I have a tool, sort of like my utilities tray that I use, like all my extra cable management stuff is in a tray over here. And what I plan to do is to take that and either put it here or over here. I'm favoring here because there's nothing else here, but we'll play it by ear and see where it fits. So that will serve as like an extra table that I could use really as well. I could put maybe like my VR headset on top of it. So that's just planning things ahead of time. We could see if we can get away with this lighting. The beautiful part about moving from that wall where I was that it had no direct light. The wall was in front of me, so I had to supply my own lighting with my bar lights and all that stuff. And I even had this light source as well. But now, since I am over here, I have window lighting in the daytime at least, and then I have this as extra VR lighting, right? Okay, so my three main peripherals are mounted on the cockpit. I have my Honeycomb Alpha here, my Honeycomb Bravo, and then my Logitech. I forgot what brand these were. My Logitech. The rudder pedals. It's not the most ergonomic just yet, or comfortable, but that will come with time. Priority number one today is making sure that they get mounted and they're usable, which they are. And the only real limiting factor right now is my knees. I always have issues with my knees at every setup. I just have very long legs, but my knees are banging on this part right here where the yoke mounts. That can be improved by either pushing the chair back a little bit more. I just pushed it back I think about as far as it goes. It's up against the wall right now. But the alternative would be to extend this portion here forwards just a bit more. So, while I'm down here, let me go ahead and try to do that. So I would accomplish that by just loosening out these screws down here on both sides. I think upon loosening those 4 screws, I should be able to pull this section forward. There we go. Pull this section forward, and then I should be able to just retighten these. And this should allow me a little bit more space to extend my knees without having them bent towards me too closely. And one other issue is this is just the throttle quadrant is not bad by any means. It is completely functional as is. But the only issue is it's a little bit close to me, so I have to position myself in an appropriate way to access the quadrant. So what I can do about this is I can just pull it just a little bit out laterally, just a little bit, which should handle it. Okay, so it took about 3 hours total to do all this, but I've got the flight deck over here with the Ascensions plugged in, and there's the powered USB hub underneath there. I got my PC in the new area over there, and then I've got my 2 stream decks over here still. I forgot about those 2, so those will have to be placed over here somehow, maybe on this tray right there is what I'm thinking for now. I've got my Crystal over here in the corner. It is very far away from my case though, but I should be stationary in this chair, so I think it should be okay over there. We will see with time. No way for us to know right now. In terms of cable management, all of these are tucked away nicely underneath the frame, so you can't really see any cables running on the ground. Maybe just one right there. 2, I could really tidy this up if I wanted to though, to get all of these together. I got all my USB, my USB hub is hidden on this side. You can see on the here, I've got some powered hubs available to us back there as well. And then it looks like my rudder pedal is already getting powered. You can see the light on. And then the Honeycomb fuzzy lights are on. Don't see any lights just yet on the Bravo. Doesn't mean it's not working, but it just means those lights are not on. Let us log in, and we got Wi-Fi here. So this computer is good. This computer is good enough for personal use right now. And then the cockpit is over there, and we'll find a way to set that up ergonomically and see what works best for our situation. But super excited to use it in flight sim. Okay, so good morning everybody. It's a beautiful morning here. The sun is coming up. This is the setup for the desktop area, and then this is the setup for the VR area. So I have my Honeycomb Bravo mounted, Alpha mounted. This will probably be where I put my stream decks, and then the seat is over in this area. My VR headset is over there on top of that tray. The cable management is I think that's satisfactory. So most of this stuff is tucked away underneath the seat under there. I could even hide that a little bit better. Most of these cables are routed alongside the frame, outside of view. So yeah, I'm satisfied with what it looks like. I did a test flight yesterday, and it was actually very, very comfortable. So I will keep modifying, keep playing around with stuff, and then seeing how things go over the next couple days. Thanks for checking in. Again, beautiful morning here in southern Louisiana. Okay, so good morning from the flight deck, y'all. I got everything organized for my first long haul over the Atlantic in the new rig. We don't have much time. New York Center is online and we are approaching Kennedy, runway 31 right. So I'll give you all a visual of the setup while I'm using it, but you'll probably see the landing itself in VR. New York Center is closing in 2 minutes. I'll set everything up for you guys. Established. One more swig of the coffee. Alright, not coffee, it's tea. $1,000. Minimums. 100, 50, 40.